So the next song, 2 underscores. We have Begin Investigation, and we have the Red, White Blues. Both Abby has ownership over. Quoted music by Masakazu Sugimori, and then in the latter case, also Justin Briner for the beginning part from Red, White, and You.
Phoenix exits with resolve. That's his ancestor. Don't.
There's a larger question here from Ellie Spencer, our amazing friend Ellie, that she'd love to hear about what goes into creating an underscore or interlude. Like which themes, which motifs do you choose, and why? How do you adapt those to other keys and styles to fit specific moments?
Yeah, so I did a lot of these like little bitty piece underscores. I think people should know is that these are all like my first forays into working on music for this show, because it kind of felt more approachable, because it was like, we don't need to use these. This is just me playing around. And I mean, it was a great starting point, because like going into a show like this where we already have this like huge library of all of the Turnabout musical music, and then also all the Ace Attorney music of just like things that are pre-written, and I can just kind of take pieces and play around with them. So yeah, it was a good practice in terms of like learning how to put the notes on the page. Like I had like musician experience before, but never like actually composing myself. So if people are interested in learning composing, I recommend doing things like this.
Find your own 15-year-old musical project.
Find your own old ass game.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, all of our music score files are up there, so people can.
That's true.
But anyway, you can play around with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Show us what you do.
Show us what you got.
I dare you.
My favorite protection squad. Play in the soup.
But in terms of like how I chose things, it was a combination of like, some of them were literally just like, what tracks haven't we used before from the game? Like, so Begin Investigation, at this point, this was before Kate's underscore in August Day, so we didn't have the lobby theme anywhere. And I was like, this is a fun little ditty. I'm going to use that. And then something about this that I just think is silly is that I did the like pursuit theme, the da 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 da. I think it kind of sounds like the like a Western down.
Oh yeah.
It does.
There's no I don't know.
Jake Marshall.
This is how Jake Marshall can still win.
But yeah, and then in terms of like how to make them fit together, the different things, it really like was just playing around in the space. I don't have like a very strong music theory background and stuff, so my way of like putting things in the same key and stuff was like I copy and pasted it, or if I needed to, I like transcribed it in the original key, copied and pasted it, and then I just like highlighted it all and kept moving it until the accidentals disappeared.
Damn right, baby girl.
And then sometimes you have to do it again, because like there's the major and minor thing, right?
Yeah.
That's a thing in music.
Anyway, it's a thing, right?
Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah, the major and the minor thing. You got it.
And then, so a lot of, I think, like the motif stuff I do, it doesn't actually end up being a one-for-one quote, because like after I do that, I then just like listen to it, be like, doesn't sound right yet, and then change the original. So yeah, that's generally my process, was just, picking something I wanted to do, laying that out, and then putting things on top. Like, especially like Red, White, Blues, I like had that in my mind. Like I could hear that one, of the way that it's Age, Regret, and Retribution, which is like Grossberg's theme, basically.
Yeah. Banger,
and
delicious,
a banger.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a banger.
And I could just like hear the way it could go with Red, White, and You. And then I use it in Red, White, and You as well. That one I like had a better vision. A lot of them I just kind of started and saw where it went. But yeah, in terms of like also like where I was writing underscores, I mean, there's like 2 things I was just like picking things out. One was like thinking about in theater, like anytime a character exited and then immediately entered, like you have to like have some buffer. So that was one of the things I was thinking about, which is usually Phoenix. He leaves and comes back somewhere else. Or if a scene doesn't end with a song already, like things like that. And then the other thing is like particularly emotional scenes. This is a kind of silly example, Red, White, Blues, but like For Being You was like crafted around that dialogue. Yeah. But yeah, that's all I have for the underscores, I think.
These two underscores were originally one longer piece, which also had at one point like a Make It Right playoff. Like there was a lot in there. You remember that?
That was silly.
Oh no, I loved all of that. And so like there is like a version.
That was my first attempt at force a grin, don't give it.
Yeah, it was. But there's like a whole
but yeah.
like scene transition underscore here. Like there's a whole like a beginning
Yeah,
part
one
of
of the
Red White
things-
Blues.
Yeah, so one of the things that changed in the audio drama version was that like any scene transition music really like got chopped, and so like it was still the underscore parts, and then as much as possible just flowing into the next scene. So like yeah, between these there was like a little groove of one of the investigation themes, which then went into a Muzak version of Red, White, and You, which I
Yes.
still
Which you can hear in the
Yeah.
sheet music video.
Oh right, we did end up using it,
Yeah.
for the like lobby
still-
area, but in the end,
Yeah, we still
it was
have it.
kind of just like
The
it was kinda-
April May thing.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
no, that is somewhere too. We also put that
I love
underneath.
the April May.
That was a sound check for one of our table reads.
Yes.
where we
Right,
just
that was the thank
recorded
you for
it.
attending Turnabout and Attorney Music. Like,
Yeah.
something.
Thanks for
Please
calling
make sure
Blue
your
Club
phone's
Blues and
silent.
Intel. Yeah.
what can blue do for you? But yeah, we ultimately said like it's not a big emotional moment or anything particularly interesting happening in that lobby, and it just kind of wasn't working, so we chopped that down to just this. Yeah. Alright.
Well, speaking of more Abby stuff, here's Red, White, and You, which
Here we go.
Okay.
basically, and I'm kind of looking at these lyrics, and I'm looking at the credits, and it's kind of funny how this turned out. So, Red, White, and You, lyrics by Justin Briner. Yes, that Justin Briner.
Yep.
Additional lyrics by Abby, me, and Liv. Music credited to Justin Briner, Kate, and Matt Furda. Matt Furda
Right,
did the
right.
full arrangement of the original one for Turnabout Musical. Additional music by Abby, which I think we had to fight you on. Like, I think you probably deserve the full credit as well, but I don't think you wanted your name to be at the front of it. And me,
Yeah, because we did it alphabetically by first name, and I'm
Yeah.
AB, so it was like
but I think you really deserve full music on that. But then additional music by me and Liv as well. Quoted music by Sugimori, Naoki Tanaka, and Matthew Toronto. And then Abby did piano vocal and orchestral arranging. So,
okay.
The PV.
Red, White, and You.
Okay, so listen.
Oh.
The thing about Red, White, and You. So there is a version that exists that Max made sort of by piecing things together.
I'm trying to remember,
There's
like,
also
what was it
the-
like? What was it like when everyone else came in? Because I feel like, because it was kind of not changed that much for a while, and then we wrote in the whole dossier thing, which I kind of took ownership
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
And so then I like rewrote,
Oh.
I like restructured the entire song to include that. And
That
then
was-
yeah, it was
yeah,
just
that
pieced
wa-
out of the original instrumental. I think the extended like ending was Joel and Liv and I, one of the bits of the extended ending. But otherwise, yeah,
Yes.
and then Abby took ownership of it.
Yeah, so that's a good point. That like the dossier plot point changed around a lot in terms of like, does Phoenix have it at this point? At one point, Grossberg stole
Grossberg
it.
gives
and I
it to
was like,
him outside of the front door.
Yeah.
Literally.
We're like, wait a second.
Where's the dossier? Where's the dossier? I don't know.
I don't. This is
Oh.
probably about Court, but didn't we also at one point have a discussion about cutting Mia related to
Yes,
the
we did.
dossier plot point?
We did.
Oh.
We did.
Anyway, we don't have to get into that.
I don't even remember that.
There was so much mess around the dossier. We were like, where is it at any given time? And like, we had
No one
no
could tell.
idea.
And I put it,
And then we
putting,
missed.
putting
Fuck
it in
it,
the
it's in the
thinker.
thinker.
Putting it in the thinker. That was
in the
absolute.
movie.
That was an absolute
Yeah.
unconscious riff from the movie because I didn't consciously remember that the movie did
It's so
that.
good.
With the that's where
It's smart. Though.
Gregory Edgeworth's bullet was hidden in
Yeah,
the movie.
yeah.
I don't remember. I didn't remember that specifically, but that's where
movie?
Oh.
Has some cool choices.
Yeah, it does.
The movie is scary, actually.
It
It is a little.
Also, why
Anyway.
is
One thing
Red
I
White
do-
like that in the
Yeah,
movie?
I know.
Slash
Why wouldn't he
pause.
Yeah.
One thing
Anyway.
I do miss about changing the dossier there is at one point I was pitching a like paper shredding dance
Yes.
break where they had
Yes.
the dossier and they
Yeah.
were like, which would have been fun, but it didn't fit what we were
That's so
doing here.
cute.
So, Red, White, and You, what happened here was I think either Kate or Lizzie took a crack at it and then kind of just like said, you know what, we'll do that later in terms of like transcribing.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
Oh
then
my
the other
God.
one, either
Oh
Kate
my
and
God.
I think all
the
three
other
of
one,
us
either Kate
did.
and Lizzie.
I
The
think all
amount
three
of-
of us did.
The amount of
Yeah, well, yeah,
emotional, mental taxing that transcribing the original TM Red, White, and You took on my body and
Oh, no.
soul.
Yeah, so at the time, we did not have a transcription. Lizzie and Kate both were like, maybe not now. It was
Later.
part of the difficulty is the original track is just kind of muddied. I
Yeah.
don't know. We think maybe what happened was there was a lot of like clarinet solos that we think maybe Matt Ferda had recorded live on top
Yeah.
of the track.
That's my
So we
theory.
think that might be like part of the reason it's hard to distinguish. So I went at it with the sort of like confidence that only like naivete can bring of like, you know what, I'm gonna do it.
And you did.
And well, here's the
You
thing.
did do it.
I-
Sitting right in front
I
of us,
did
and it's
something.
beautiful.
The important thing is I did something and I like it. I don't think it's correct. I think there's a lot that is not true to the original in a way that it wasn't just like a choice. It was like I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know what it is.
Which I think can be nice because it like does make a new thing out of something, and like instead of like trying to take the original and really like find changes I want to make, it was sort of like, well, I have this song and I kind of am already winging it, so I guess we're gonna wing it a lot.
I mean, the new vibe is great, and like,
Yes.
you know, and this wasn't the case at the time, but like mixed with Hunter's take on Red, it's just like a
Yes.
complete,
Yeah.
like from top to bottom, completely new take on the entire song.
Mhm.
Yeah, so this is also like my first big orchestration. So the strategy here was like every 8 measures or so, I picked a new auxiliary percussion instrument. So there's like cowbell, there's maracas, castanets, there's everything. And this is because I, at the time, recently discovered the auxiliary percussion tab on MuseScore, which is kind of hidden. You have to go to all
Ah.
instruments and then it shows up. So I was like, oh my gosh, I have so many things to work with. So that's just like how I got through it. Is like every so often I just changed the percussion and vibed through it. But my other strategy was that just about every 8 to 16 measures, I would share a work in progress. So I would like battle through and I'm like, I gotta get
Yes,
through it
I
so
remember
can show
those.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, here's a little bit more.
Yes, 8 more measures, let's go. Well, something I really like about it is that the original, it was more uniform throughout. It was like kind of the same da 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 vibe, and then with the solos kind of jamming on top. This I definitely like. There's a lot of different changes in instrumentation and stuff, and just like feel like pacing and stuff, which I enjoy, and I think it's. If nothing else, it makes it easier to know where you are in the song, because that was another struggle I was
Amen.
having.
Mhm.
Like transcribing, I was like, I have no clue.
Yeah.
Here am
Um,
I.
Where am I?
Shout out to Matt Ferda,
Um,
but those instrumentals.
Yes.
The vamps.
The vamps are a
The
little
vamps.
too
Oh, beautiful.
similar all the time.
Matt, we love you.
And trying to
I love
perform
his
these
work.
songs live, which I have done,
Yeah.
we have done on a few occasions, is like you
Yeah.
really gotta know all of that time in the back of your head to nail
We're
it.
gonna talk about 600K later.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Don't worry
funny.
about
It's
it.
funny because it's something like that works when you're playing live if you have a
Yes.
live pit.
If you have a
because
live
they
pit,
can
yeah.
it's
win
no
with it.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah, it's what you should
Right.
do, because then you
So-
can just vamp as long as you need to. But here we are.
Exactly.
If you only just have
Yeah,
one
so
track
it's funny
to work
because
with.
yeah.
It also made it
so
easy
we
to
were
mess
writing
around
for
with.
live pit theoretically.
Yeah.
And in the process, we're making tracks we have to sing along to. So we're actually like making something that isn't for live pit in that
Yeah.
process. So it's kind of funny how that ended up. But yeah, besides that, I wrote Easter Egg Bonanza. Because
Yay!
already baked into this were a lot of different like riffs on different songs. There's a Justice for All riff, there's like the Objection theme riff, there was some of like Happy People, which is like
Yeah, a few of those were in
the
there.
April
The-
May
Turnabout Sisters.
Lot of Heart. Yeah, so all
2005,
those things were
2005,
yes, yeah. So Emma's theme / Lana's theme was in there too. So I was using those, and I also couldn't resist putting in some of my own.
Mhm.
So things I wanted to point out. So right after the Awakening sections, Red goes, "Kid, I own the police." Let's see here.
I need a
I think
number.
you were
baby
at it.
girl.
Well, I can't see it. So
Oh yes, it is. It measure 80. Yep.
yeah. Yeah, keep going. After that. Yeah, stop.
Because that's the original Awakening. Shout out to the original Awakening.
Yes.
Yes. So in the trombone, it then goes dun 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 dun, which is a jazzed up version of the Blue Badger theme.
Oh.
Oh shit!
Sweet.
So when he's mentioning the police, that's where that goes in.
I
And
will.
then-
I will take this moment to take credit for the Blue Badger with the police thing.
Yeah.
As you should.
because It's in Tomorrow at Last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
when the police are singing,
Yes,
and
it
like
is.
nobody ever noticed it
Do,
back in
do,
the
do,
day.
do, do.
I remember
So
telling
good.
Diana when we did TM Live in
Yeah.
2016, and she was like, "What are you talking about?" So
So good.
I dropped it
I
on
think
you
that's
guys,
my
and then
favorite.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it became like it's in August Day, I think, for Maggie, and it's here with the police,
Yep.
and I love it because like
Yep.
it's Blue Badger. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's my favorite motif because it's so like
it's so silly.
It's so
It's
silly
so,
and it's
like-
used in so many ways in like such dramatic moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that, and then right after it is the Grodyberg verse, I believe.
I saw you
And
talk
that-
to Grodyberg.
The rat just had to
Yes.
tweak. Oh yeah,
So that
lots
in
of
the
lots of little
saxes-
lyric tweaks all over the
Da,
place.
da, da,
Not
da,
only
da,
to fit
da,
the
da,
new
da, da,
dossier
da,
stuff,
da,
but
da,
just
da,
in
da, da,
general.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that in the saxes, that is again Age, Regret, and Retribution, just like really fast.
You
Love
just
it.
write good luck.
Yeah, I don't know how.
I'm
I've never
sorry.
played saxophone. I don't know. You
put
can
in the
probably do
dolphin
it. I
shoals.
believe in you.
Do it. Oh my god. Anyway.
And so yeah, so in addition to that being the verse about Grossberg, I think is kind of like an artistic choice in here throughout the song, and especially like at the dance break at the end, that Red is like collecting other people's motifs.
Yeah.
He's stealing that
This
for
is
himself.
mine.
That's
Got
so
the
cute.
police. I've got Grodyberg.
Just like he's
Um,
collected the King of Prosecutors trophy and the Samurai Spear and the painting and whatever. So
I
cute.
forgot
yeah,
he had the
so-
trophy. Oh my god.
Yeah, and then like we talked about Happy People for Lotta. I think I ended up doing it differently than it was in the original, but it's there. And Emma's theme for Lana. And then the dance break again is like a mashup of everything in a sort of very chaotic. I don't know if I struck the balance right. I wanted chaotic but reasonable,
I think
and
you
it
got
might
there.
just be chaotic.
It's
but-
beautiful.
We're all dancing
And then
together.
Rest
It's
in
great.
Peace,
We're
I have written-
happy.
Oh my god, I forgot. Yeah, so
there was a whole
part to the
second
dance
half
break.
to the dance break.
because we could talk about
Thanks to the power of red, white, and jazz. You
Red,
can't
white,
stop
and
me,
jazz.
kid. No one has. Because red is right and right is wrong. Now one more time, back to the song.
Oh man.
So that was based on a Max demo of the Pal You Can Trust, which was the sort
The
of
acapella
edit
tap
of
break.
A Guy You Can Trust
Oh.
that had a tap break that they hadn't written. So we had acapella tap break, in which Max was like, tap break. This is
the
an acapella tap break.
Yeah.
So I tried to work that into the dance break, but ended up cutting it for time and just,
It shows up
streamlining
later
it.
though.
And then the last thing I have written for this is Rest in Peace, Sexy Kickline.
Oh yeah, the
Yes.
street beat.
The
Sexy
original,
Kickline should have made it, baby girl.
yeah. So the original version of the first part of the ending, where the ensemble kicks in with the red, white makes the rules, was originally much slower, and the like triplets like slowed down.
Yeah.
And Kate did the like a demo on that, and it was like. It was awesome. It was very cool, but
And
just
it
in
was
terms of
2
like,
minutes long.
Yeah.
Like this song's already
Yeah,
5
and
minutes.
also,
Like,
it didn't fit as well like without the kick line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
without visuals, it was
I should also say,
so
like,
we
the
ended
whole
up doing it
idea,
fast.
the whole idea of having like employees in the room, like doing his bidding and sort of, being the sinister crowd around Phoenix, forcing him to do stuff. That was just like Joel and Liv and I being like, let's just make this "What's Up, Duloc." Like that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like that's the vibe we're going for in terms of silly but threatening red white.
Well, having the ensemble here at the end really just is the cherry on top.
It really is.
It works
really
so
is
well.
So well.
Yep. And then, like you said, I think it was like the collection of you, Joel, and Liv that did kind of that very
What
end. Echo.
What you can do
You can
for
do
red white
for
breaks the red
red
white
white
breaks the
breaks the
rules.
rules.
He's the top. Yeah, I think that ending part was Liv did it, and then I did it, and then it pretty much just went in as it was, right? Or it got like the vocal harmonies got fixed. But yeah, so it was just all building on each other,
I
like the
still
song.
think about- Yay! I still think about the Hunter blooper where it was just, you can try, but you will never stop.
Cut.
I would- Fuck.
Go watch the bloopers if you haven't already. They're on what is it? Chaos. Wait,
Just
what's
a really
Ruth's
flat
channel? Chaos.
Fuck.
Chaos, I think.
Chaos, yeah.
Chaos, yeah.
Mhm.
I found
Alright.
the
I love-
piece of art that I made of us all in the office, and Abby is there.
Yes, I love that's hanging up in on my desk in my
Oh.
my
What is it? The
Max, I made this during a very
yes!
trying time in production.
Oh yeah.
put it in my
crimes, crimes,
I know
crimes,
you.
crimes.
Yeah, send it to me later so I can put it up.
Okay.